Morning, everybody. Welcome to Going On Daily Live. My name is Becky here with a brand new host, Miss Micki. Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you here. I think you're going to be a great addition to our show. Coming in on Tree Week, I never saw anyone so excited.
I
To talk
really
about
am.
trees. So, I
Yeah,
mean, you've
yeah.
got to be a good addition if you're that excited.
Well, there's so much to talk about with trees. There's
Well,
lots of them.
it's so true. I don't know if you
Trees, not jungles, right?
say that again.
Sorry, I'm just ribbing Ron. He changed the whole thing to jungles the other day. So I'm
Yes.
teasing.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
get it.
there is a lot to talk about with
Yep.
trees. You're so right. Yesterday we talked about, Chuck talked about why he hated trees,
Mhm.
which is a weird stance. I talked about a tree that literally poisons you if you touch it or eat it. So, I mean, yeah, it is vast.
I'm going to talk about trees that you can eat. This will be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Before we get there, why
Mhm.
don't I put you on the spot? Why don't you just give like a brief intro to who you are?
Hey, awesome. I will do. I'm Micki Woodford, and I'm a military spouse. I homeschool my kids, so kind of on the nerdy side on that one. But we love it. I own a business in Jacksonville, even though I live in Pensacola. So right after the show, I'm driving to Jacksonville, see my people. So I am a busy person, but as you guys know, my first job out of college was radio. So this is kind of fun to kind of circle back and do something that it's been a long, long time. We won't talk about how long, but that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Okay, I love it.
If
I
you
love
want me to talk longer, I can absolutely
No,
do that.
that's perfectly fine. I was just looking up where Pensacola was because I was trying to figure
Oh,
out how are you in the central time zone, but I guess that makes sense.
so yeah, it's like we're 30 minutes from Alabama. So,
Cool.
Alabama shares the coast just a little bit.
Yes.
We're right there.
Very
So,
cool. So I
yeah.
found out yesterday. So I'm a part of this like women's charity collective in my town. It's like worldwide, but I am a co whatever of the group here. And we got an email yesterday saying that there is a like a conference basically in Miramar Beach in Destin, which is I just looked,
Yeah.
it's close
It's not
to you.
far.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
Or you're wanting a place to stay.
No, not at all. No, I'm at a hotel. But like,
I'm
it'd
just
be,
teasing.
it'd be cool to say hi.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go. It's still a year away. I got time to decide, but I just thought it
Okay.
was cool how close that is to you.
Well, that's a drive for you, right? It's a flight and
Oh,
that's a nice
definitely.
one.
I would be flying. That would be
Yeah.
many, 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 many hours of driving for me.
Yeah.
So, 5-hour flight, 50-hour drive. I'll take the flight.
Yes. Well, if you definitely come down, yeah, we'll have to do lunch and do the show live together. That would be fun.
Well, we always say, oh, we're going to get together as a group, but it's hard because, I'm in Edmonton, Canada. Ron's in Rhode Island. Kenny's here
Yeah.
in the comments. Kenny is in Connecticut. We've got someone in Texas. We've got someone on Vancouver Island. We've got someone in Winnipeg. All over. We are all over the place.
Yeah.
Run, Kenny, I ain't running anywhere. Okay. I will take a plane. Thank you. Not Terry Fox running across the
That's yeah. If you're in Canada, that's a drive. Actually, in Florida is a big state. So when I moved down here originally, I lived in Key West for a little bit. When people would say, "Oh, that's got to be great. You're so close, to your dad." My dad's in Fort Myers. It's always been a 6-hour drive, and now it's 9. And so I always use Canada because I lived in Indiana my whole life, and Canada is about 6 hours away from the heart of Indiana. And I'm like, when was the last time you were in Canada? Like, nobody in Indiana goes to Canada because it's a long drive. And so that's just perspective, because in Florida, people in their head like, hey, it's in Florida. Well, Florida's a big, long state. So it's a lot of driving.
Which is funny because, like, at the end of May, I'm going to go visit a friend who lives in my province, but it is a 6-hour drive to her house. I'm leaving Saturday. I'm coming back Sunday. That's just like normal here. 6 hours is nothing.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is to Pensacola. Well, I lose an hour, of course, going to Jacksonville, but it's about roughly 6 hours there, and I'm coming back. So It's a chore.
Yeah, you're
Someone's got to
busy
do it.
all the time.
A little bit.
Well, thank you for the intro. Why don't you lead us off? You are starting our show with Guerilla Grafting.
Okay, yes. So this is actually an illegal act. Guerilla grafting. Yep. This is there's a lot of people who do this. They participate this, and basically you're grafting. If you know, like mostly cities and parks, they put trees in without any thought to the type of tree that they put in, and they don't ever produce fruit. They don't bring any food to the table. But so there are a group of people who in California, I watched this whole documentary about this. It's awesome. They're called guerrilla grafters. And what they do is they graft branches. So if you are grafting, the process is that you're taking a branch from a stone fruit, for example, like a stone fruit would be cherries, plums, peaches, any of those fruits that have like a hard fruit seed in the middle. You are taking a branch and you kind of pair it, not PEAR, but PAIR.
Yes.
The same size, and you, like the image is showing, you match it to a similar size. So you graft it. There's this whole long process. It's you have to do it at a diagonal and all this other stuff, and you bind it. And the tree won't produce fruit, but that branch will. So what they do is they go into like areas where there's a high homeless population, and they adopt some trees because this is illegal to do, and they'll graft fruit on some of the branches so that they'll produce
that's
nutritious fruit. But it's called guerrilla grafting because it's really not.
Yeah, because it's illegal. So I can see both sides of it. I can see why it would be great, especially when you're going in these areas that have a lot of homeless population. Now they have a food source, right? But as like, a crunchy person, I'm like, is that genetically modified? Are you splicing two different things together?
Yeah. So it usually it's ornamental trees that don't produce fruit, but you can if you get the same, like, I don't know, maybe I don't know the right word for it. They have to be in the same family.
Okay.
Like you're not going to graft, an apple tree to a pine tree. It has to be like a crab apple, which is an ornamental tree. You can actually have apples produce. But it's usually to combat what they call an urban desert. So where there isn't, naturally, So it's really, really cool. And if I ever, had to go to jail for something, that would be it. Like, I think
if you're going to be a criminal, it might as well be for, your Robin Hood, like giving to the poor.
Absolutely. But usually they're trying to be really responsible. So that's why I use the word adopt when people do it, because the fruit does fall on the sidewalk. It can attract bees, like rotten fruit. So what they do is when they do this guerrilla activity, they graft the branches and, start this process. They do manage it. So they do a weekly check, make sure that they're, pruning and protecting the sidewalks from slippery surfaces and stuff, so that they're kind of responsible for their devious behavior.
So devious.
I know, right?
So interesting. That it's cool. I like the idea of it because at any point, Ron, your graphics are gone. At any point, if you're able to make it an area more self-sustainable, that's important, right? Like when I was in Africa, there's so many pineapples. When I was in Africa, there was, obviously a lot of poverty, a lot of people who can't eat. And yet there was like these crazy huge fruit trees everywhere. So even if they're not getting meat, they're not getting bread, rice, whatever, there's still mangoes or I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I did a mission trip in Haiti, and there's trees so people will actually go walking and they basically forage in the So I was, working in an orphanage, and there was this guy randomly walking through the wood, and I know what he was doing. He was just foraging and getting, because there's so much vegetation that's just naturally grows. But
For sure.
yeah, so it takes, if you're curious, about a year. So if you graft a branch during the dormant season, it should be producing on par with the rest of the, when it starts to grow. So or at least within a year. So it's not a long process. Not like a fruit tree takes a very long time to, like sometimes 10 years. Avocados are crazy long, but when you graft, it's within a year's or of one season. It'll produce fruit. So it's kind of neat.
So I wonder, like, I have an apple tree in my front yard, and 1 year I will get apples, the next year I won't get apples, and it goes every other year. I wonder.
Yeah, so sometimes that happens when you don't have I don't know, like a he and she or proper what's called pollination. So I think you need. So if you were to plant a second tree nearby, you would not have that problem.
Oh, see, we're cutting down our big tree in our front yard, and the apple tree will remain. So I'll just put another little apple tree where the other one is. I didn't know that. I didn't know that trees got it on. I had no idea.
Well, more like pollination. Yeah, you need a male. See, I didn't make that.
How do I know what's a male tree and what's a female?
I don't know.
So because
something
my tree produces fruit, I might imagine it's a female tree.
Yeah, and I really don't know because they don't have skirts, so I can't check.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't even know. But there, speaking of grafting, this is one of the interesting things I was telling you guys before when we were talking. I was so excited about this whole topic. Is that a guy took this grafting to the next level? He did not do guerrilla grafting. This is off topic in a sense, but he has a tree that he's been grafting onto for years in New York. And it produces, I don't know, I looked that up, but this guy in New York, I don't know if you looked it up, but he grafts onto the stone fruits and it produces almost year round. It's got cherries and peaches and plums. It produces, I don't know how many different fruits, but it's gorgeous. Like when it produces, an image of it is like, yeah, I don't know if you can see on my screen. See the colors? Yeah.
Oh, it's like a purpley.
Yeah, 40 different kinds of fruit.
Dang.
Yeah, cherries and peaches and plums. Yeah. So anything that's a stone fruit, because that's the tree's basis. Like that's you couldn't put apples on there or whatever, bananas. It has to be a stone fruit, but because they're all in the same family, that tree produces 40 different fruits. And it's actual real. Like it's a real.
I'm wondering if that base tree has to be a stone fruit tree also.
Yeah, yes. That's what it has to be.
I didn't do it with my apple tree.
No, but you could do apples, like I believe pears and apples and different types of apples. You could graft onto your tree. So, and then it's called scion, SCION, scion.
Yeah.
There's scion swaps. So when you take that little pruning, like that you do the clipping, to do the grafting, there's meetups. So Becky, you like clip your apple. So you've got one type of apple, but you want a Granny Smith or you want a whatever. Apple. You can snip it and go to a scion swap. And then you guys trade.
Oh my God.
Then your tree produces maybe 4 different types of apples. Anyway, it's pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Again, the red flag is like GMO. We don't like to splice things together. And then the other part of me is like, so cool.
Yeah, but I don't think you're using, like it's natural.
My husband just showed up.
Yeah.
With a Starbucks on the top that says, I can't even show you. It says, sorry for the farts, because all night, this guy woke me up.
This is I'm sorry coffee.
That's so funny. Meanwhile, like I'm over here, I've got glutamine, I've got dandelion tea, I'm trying to be all healthy. And he shows up with the sweetest Starbucks that is my favorite. Oh my gosh. I know, Ron, he could have donated that $7 to the Uganda Fund. You're right. He totally could have. We're already donating lots to the Uganda Fund. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love it. Guerrilla grafting. I've never heard of that until you.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I want to learn more about it.
It's a lot
Scion swaps.
Scion swaps. You'll have to look for one in your area. Give it a try. And I guess I guess this is really getting nerdy, but I believe that it's a 50% chance of it working. Or no, it's like an 80% chance of it working. So if you do two, you have almost a success rate. If you do two.
I mean, if that was your odds for the lottery, you would take that, right? 80%.
Yes. So if you do, you should do two different branches, and the odds are at least one of them will take. It's not always a perfect system. And the grafting process of like you do it at an angle and you have to get the same size. There's a little bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of a learning curve there. Yeah, sure. I think you get better with it, but then you Google it.
Gardening.
Google it, and there's like 100 how-to videos on this grafting process, but I think it's fascinating.
I had no idea.
I don't think this counts as a GMO thing, though. I don't think it's unnatural.
No, hey?
I think it sounds like you're growing meat in a petri dish or anything.
Ron says that's a great idea. I agree. And you're right. You're not growing it in a petri dish, and you're not like taking
it's natural, like
of one, the seed of another, and mushing it together and creating something. I get that. You're right. It's natural. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it.
I did it one year. I was gardening and I planted bell peppers next to jalapeno peppers.
Oh.
And they cross-pollinated.
Oh, I bet.
I got these little tiny bell peppers. They were little miniature things. And I was like, this is weird. But I was like, well, we're going to eat them anyway because I grew them, right? And I cut them up, put them in a salad, and our mouths were on fire.
Yep.
Because they were spicy little tiny bell peppers, which would have been great for stuffed peppers. But
totally. If
not good in a salad.
We're prepared for it, then yes.
Yeah. So now I don't put jalapenos next to bell peppers.
When you garden, I know this is off topic again. This is what happens on the show. When you garden, do you mix it up of where you plant things every year, or do you just put stuff in the same?
So, I mentioned that I was military. I move all the time. So this is my first year having a big backyard. I'm pretty excited about it. So I've kind of gone nutso. Within like 3 months, I've got a huge garden and raised beds and things planted in every corner and nook of the yard. So we'll kind of see. This year will be like the trial version. So next year so if something doesn't grow, because it's weird, the sun, and the fencing, you don't know how much sun everything needs and water. So, and this is a new environment because Pensacola weather is different than Jacksonville.
Right.
So it's a little colder. It's a little further, it's a lot of different, it's different weather.
I love you say colder.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I was in Key West. The iguanas, I couldn't have a garden there because the iguanas ate everything.
No way.
So there was no garden there. So I've been really sad. So I'm pretty like a lunatic right now with gardening. I'm like out there every day watering and picking weeds and doing all stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. Next year is a better question for that because I'll have to see what works.
Next August, I will be asking you the question. Even this August, because you'll know how things grew at least.
Alligators don't eat vegetables. No, iguanas do.
The alligators don't.
I don't have alligators.
So Micki and I don't really know each other, but I
know
the first time we talked, like, you are living my life. I asked my husband daily if we can move to Florida. I kid you not. It is daily. I send him videos nonstop of why you should move to Florida every single day. And then one day, like, it just kept snowing here. We finally have some sun. It got to about 20 degrees yesterday, which is about 70-ish. So that was like hot for us, but it snowed like a couple days ago. And so every time it snows, I say to my husband, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to ourselves? And so
why don't you come down?
I feel like I'm wearing them down. Maybe. So maybe one day you and I will be neighbors. Maybe after we go for this conference, I'll make him come with me, even though it's like a women's conference. He can just come and lay on the beach and he'll realize how great it's like the land of opportunity. The CEO of his company lives in Florida.
Yes. Well,
I don't know.
I would suggest visiting this because I have lived in now Fort Myers, 2 different parts of Jacksonville, Key West, and now Pensacola. So I would suggest trying, visiting a few places because it depends on what you're we can talk about it at longer, but depends on what you're into because there's some sleepy parts and then there's some crazy parts and so, it just kind of, you don't want to be so there's some places that are really I don't say rustic, but like really secluded. But maybe not Miami, right? Or
no, I don't want to move to Miami.
You want to be someplace where you can go see a movie and get a good place to eat, without being.
I just want the sun.
Sun. So, okay, so you want
I don't want to live in the Everglades. No.
And there's two kinds of water here. You've got your Gulf, the Panhandle, and then there's the other side, which is the Atlantic. And that is, waves and a different kind of stuff.
I want to go
live in the Everglades.
I want to live where you live, I think.
Those are some alligators in the Everglades and anacondas and all that.
Swamps? No, thank you.
Swamps and there's a lot of.
No, thank you, Ron. Okay, well, I guess I better transition. If we're 21 minutes in, I better get to the next topic.
We knew this was going to happen, though. So.
It always does. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing my last topic because I chatted too much. If you are watching us live right now, you might be on Kick, YouTube, Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Twitch at RI_broadcasting, or Twitter at Broadcasting RI. You can watch us every morning except for Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. She lives that gangsta life. Who was that? Micki lives that gangsta life, Kenny? Kenny's one of our hosts, and he's hilarious. And he is watching on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting. But maybe you can't get online at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, where I am. Oh, the goat. That's me. I'm the goat, apparently. So maybe you're just listening to us after the fact. We are on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Red Circle, and Amazon Music at RIBroadcasting. You can follow us on one of several social medias: MeWe, TikTok, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Gab, Parler, Space Hey. Space Hey is just MySpace. Did you ever
Is it
have
really?
it?
It's still around?
And the graphics are still just as garbage as they always were.
Well, you have to actually know HTML, don't you? Do they still let you do HTML graphics?
I don't know. I tried to log in and I was like, this is stupid. And I got it.
I thought it was a music platform for a while, wasn't it?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it kind of was in the early 2000s too, where you're like, your top song and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, there's music online and I can read people's profiles. It was actually pretty revolutionary, but like of today's standards, I don't know. HTML hell. Cute. Apparently we got a new one too. I found out yesterday. What was the name of that new one that we got? And Buzz Axe or Axe Pick or something? Pickaxe. Social media, Pickaxe, and we've got it. If Ron hears of a social media, we've got it. And also Patreon, of course, at RIBroadcasting. Follow us there. But if you're like me and you're like, what the heck is a MeWe and a Gab and a Space Hey, just go on Facebook. Going on Daily Morning Show. And then if you're like, what did you just say? Because you just listed off 25 things. Just go to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. We have all of our social media info there. We got all these shows here. We've got other people's shows there. You can support the show. You can donate $10 million to the show if you feel so inclined. You can donate to our Uganda fund. You can pick your favorite Hall of Famer. Go to the Hall of Fame list, Ron. This is mean. Led Zeppelin, Queen, Rolling Stones, Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd. Scan the QR code or go to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net and vote for your favorite. The winner will go on to whatever the Hall of Fame or next round, or we do this every month. Something different. Last month, Sean Connery took it. The month before, I can't remember. I think it was 60s movies or something. Like, it changes every month. So go ahead, get your votes in. I've now voted 3 times for this one because I couldn't decide.
Who did you pick, or is it a secret?
Queen first, of course.
If Prince was on there, that would have been my first choice.
Oh no, Ron is gonna be your best friend. Ron loves Prince, and I think Prince is the creepiest. See, happy face.
What? Seriously?
I think Prince is so creepy. Anytime Ron has a top whatever list, Prince is always number 1. And I'm like, that's the wrong choice.
I mean,
it's not the wrong.
Fantastic.
I don't like him. But Queen for sure has my heart and had my first vote. But then I just love Led Zeppelin. I've been married twice, and both times I've had Led Zeppelin music in the professional.
Well, my daughter knows every single song by Queen. We don't really get it. My husband and I are like,
right?
We don't. She's 13 and she's nutso about Queen.
You know what? It's got to
Literally.
be. Does she do the social media thing? Does she do TikTok or YouTube or anything like that? Oh, okay. Because like my 13-year-old all of a sudden knows all this music, and I'm like, I walked in her room one day, and I'm
They
like, is
do know a lot. Yeah, it's really strange. Well, I think it started because I have always been a ZZ Top fan.
oh yeah,
And when we run, it's like LaGrange, right? So when we would go for runs, it would be, Johnny Cash or ZZ Top. And I think it started because she started listening to classic rock. And guess what gets introduced when you listen to classic rock? It's obviously Queen. And then she fell in love with a bunch of their songs. And then that was the story.
You know what? Kind of the same thing. I remember, like, I always listened to Queen growing up, especially like in the 90s, right? That, he'd only just died. And so his music was still like super, super popular. And then we were always in sports. So obviously Queen is super popular because of sports.
I know, right? I don't think any of those guys played sports.
Yeah, no. Buddy, no. But then I remember being on this family vacation road trip kind of thing. My family never got along ever. I remember the road trip. We all were in trouble. We were laughing about it yesterday. I remember my dad kicked me out of the van and I had to walk along some highway because I was being rude. And I remember my brother was being rude and he got a plate frisbeed at him, took his knees out. Like my dad wasn't abusive or anything, but like it was a bad trip. But I do remember coming home from that trip and listening to Queen's greatest hits on the drive home.
Oh.
And you know what? When I think of that trip, I don't think about how angry everyone was at each other. I think about Queen. And that's when my love for Queen started. I was in grade 11th grade for my American friends.
Music is powerful like that. Have you ever heard a song and you can remember where you were, who you were with, what it was like, what was going on outside?
Yeah,
It's crazy
exactly.
how music can take you right back to a moment.
Exactly. I know. It's wild.
Back
Ron
in
is
the
saying that Queen is now dropped to 60%, Led Zeppelin up to 13, and Fleetwood up to 13. Dang, it's because I keep voting for everyone. I was going to go on and vote for Fleetwood Mac today because I voted for people multiple times. And I just did. I just did it. I voted for Fleetwood Mac. So now Fleetwood Mac's going to be above Led Zeppelin, which also hurts my heart because I love Led Zeppelin more than Fleetwood Mac. So this is a tough one. Normally, I'm like, I have no idea who any of these people are. Vote for whomever.
I just voted once. I'm good. I don't know if I have to keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and so I guess I haven't even got through the intros yet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We have a Uganda fund. As some people know, I went on a missions trip in February to Uganda. Life-changing, as these missions trips tend to be for me. Less life-changing people I met. It's you who's changed. Realize that people have
hands down. Yeah.
People have nothing. You've been to Haiti, right? Like
I've been on lots of mission trips, and I think that the biggest thing about mission trips is it does change you. You come back, you appreciate what you've got. Like this is it changes. It's definitely good for the people, but
it is.
It's a you change. That's definitely true.
Totally. And, one of the guys down there had said to me, with all that money you spent to come down here, you could have just changed a village with that. And, I felt guilty at first, but then I thought, you know what, like I also need changing. So, I can't.
Well, yeah. And then now you're back and you're promoting change and you're,
So we are collecting any amount of dollars. Like Ron said, it could have saved that $7 on Starbucks and sent it directly to the donations. Yes, we could have. You're right. And I will take that under advisement. But head over to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net/Uganda-donations.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah. So Chuck, who I did my show with yesterday, he's a roofer. One of the initiatives that the money will go to is building a roof on this one school because they walk everywhere. Literally they're at risk of witch doctors and animals and snakes and things like that because it's like 10 kilometers each way to walk to the next location. So it's like, it's not feasible for kids to do that in the hot sun, so they need a school. And so they've built the structure, but there's no roof. And so Chuck said, if we get to the amount of donations that we need, he will fly there and teach people how to build roofs.
Oh, I love that. Very cool.
And different than the roofs that he is currently building, but still. It changes people. And so, cool. Rhode Island Broadcasting is heading to Uganda, maybe one day.
I like it.
That's a big plan. So head to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net/Uganda-donations. any little bit, any
Yep.
dollar helps, because $1 American is 3,500 shillings. So that's a huge amount of money. So, okay, half an hour just to get through that. Let me find my topic here. I don't even remember what we are talking about today. Oh, trees. Trees. So we were talking about the Baobab tree when I met you. And
Yep.
you know, I've also done a segment on this before. Ron, I like how you picked the one with with the watermarks on it here. So I'll just move past that watermark. But yeah,
gotta give credit to them.
Right. Baobab tree is fascinating. Here's another one behind me here. It's got this like massive base and then like all of these little branches everywhere. And so when I did it before, when I did a topic on it, I just talked fun facts, I guess you could call it. I just talked about the tree. But I found this article here that talks about the legend of the Baobab tree. So, you know, this tree is in parts of Africa, and apparently people talk about it, and not because it's like a scary tree, but because it doesn't seem to obey time the way that everything else does. Now, I want to back step on this. What I've learned, having spent any time in Africa, nobody believes in time there. Time is a figment of our imagination. If you say, "Hey, be here at 1," they're showing up at 4. Okay, if you say it's going to be 3 hours long, it's going to be 6 hours long. If you say 100 people are coming, 500 people are coming. Like, it is, numbers don't exist there. It's the most
right.
It's hilarious. So when they say, you know, that something about this tree doesn't obey time, well, that's because the people don't obey time. So the Baobab tree is thick like it swallowed a house. Now, I don't even know how wide this would be. I didn't look up the dimensions. Maybe Ron, you could do that. What are the dimensions of like, or the diameter of like a full grown Baobab tree? I would venture to guess it's like several feet wide at the base. The bark is really weathered. The branches look like roots crawling out from the top, which is so bizarre. It's literally like an upside down tree. It's like the tree like somehow flipped and then, you know, never got back to normal. What had started here is there was a disappearance of a boy named Cato, and it was a dry season, and so they don't have winter there in some of these places. They have summer and they have a rainy season, so, or dry season and rainy season. So this boy went missing one dry season, and there was no tracks and like no struggle, no signs that he was gone. He was just gone. And again, what I have learned, what does Ron say? Baobab tree can grow to impressive sizes, typically reaching heights of 5 to 30 meters, so 16 to 98 feet. The trunk can have a diameter of 7 to 11 meters, 23 to 20 or 36 feet, with some trees measuring up to 30 feet in diameter and 59 feet in height. That is wild.
Yeah. And they store up a lot of water.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, like
120,000 liters. That's what some of my information.
So a liter is like, there's 4
liters. Think of a 2 liter. Yeah.
So that's wild to me. And so anyway, when my time in Uganda, like when it rains, it pours, right? Like I know a lot of Africa is a dry desert that needs rain, but like in some of these areas, it gets rain and rain and rain. So I would imagine that these trees just absorb it and store it, which is cool. So anyway, this boy Cato, the last time anyone had seen him, he was sitting inside the hollow of a baobab tree, something that children love to do. And I've totally seen these kids climbing trees, kids climbing anthills, kids climbing anything that they can get on just so they could see from a better vantage point.
Yeah, right.
They don't have video games. They're not playing. They're doing stuff, right? Inside of the tree, it feels cool and quiet, especially if it's dry season. It's hot. You know, they almost say like sitting inside one of these trees is like a different world for them. Like picture you as a kid playing in like a tree house or like a fort. It was like, it takes you to a different place, right? So the families searched for days for Cato, and on the 4th night, an elder of this village stood before the tree and said quietly, "It's taken him into another time." And people didn't argue it. They're very mystical people, a lot of them. So, you know, if they thought the spirits took him, that's what they thought. But 3 years later, Cato, 3 years later, during mango season, Cato walked back into the village just nonchalantly. He wasn't any older. That's what's weird. When a boy is 3 years older, he looks different, right?
Oh,
He was
yeah.
thinner. He didn't change at all. He was the same. He was even wearing the same clothing. He was still holding the same carved stick that he had the day he vanished. And when they'd asked him where he'd been, he frowned and he was confused. And he was like, I was just inside the tree. Why is everyone crying? And so to him, it had been less than an hour that he'd been gone.
Sounds like a Rip Van Winkle story.
Right.
Remember that story?
Yeah. Well, no, but I know Rip Van Winkle. So what lives inside, you wonder. So after that, no one sat inside of this tree casually, of course. They were terrified of what was going to happen. But the elders began to watch the tree. They noticed some strange things happening. Some mornings the tree would drip water during a drought because we just said it absorbs so much. But for, a deeply religious and spiritual people that believe in like mysticism and stuff, a tree dripping in the dry season is like an act of God, right?
Right.
So it would drip water during a drought. Animals avoided the tree, except for birds, which circled it, as they do. Lightning would strike near it often, but never ever hit it. So sometimes at night, if you stood very still, you could hear something from inside. It wasn't like voices and it wasn't movement. It was more like echoes of something. Almost like I don't watch like anything weird. I'm thinking like Stranger Things. I don't watch it because it creeps me out. But like, I don't watch demonic stuff. Okay. But like, here with it, they're like, can hear into like a different world, like a different realm, or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what these.
So this legend that you're talking about, is there a time, like when was this legend? When did this supposedly happen? Like hundreds of years ago or recently?
I would say like somewhere in between those two times. I'd have to look up more. I don't know.
Okay. I narrowed it.
And it's a legend. So quite honestly, who knows, right?
Okay. All right.
So the elders believe this tree doesn't just store water like other baobab trees, it stores time. They think the hollow inside isn't empty. It's a place where moments slip or overlap or get held in a weird moment. If you step in at the wrong time, you don't come back when you expect, like Cato.
Okay.
Or you come back after a really long time after everyone thought you were gone. Also, like Cato.
Would you do it?
You know what? No. Even though I don't give power to things like this, I also don't put myself in situations like this.
I know. Okay. I hear you, but I think I still would do it.
To me, it's like
just to say I did.
To me, it's like I don't watch scary movies.
Right. I don't. Yeah.
I feel like you open yourself up to stuff. Do I think I'm protected from that? Yes. Do I still put myself in that situation? No. So,
okay.
That's how I feel about it. So I don't know. I don't play with fire. So now there's a rule in the village. Never enter the baobab when the air feels too still, because that's when the tree is feeding, apparently. Now here, there's a creepy part, I guess. Once a year, during the hottest day of the dry season, the villagers say if you place your ear against the bark and you don't hear the wind and you don't hear insects, you hear something far worse. You hear your own voice. What? Calling from inside the tree. What? That's just how it ends? Now,
did you pre-read this?
No, I never do because I like to be surprised.
Oh, okay. Well, it was going through the light.
I did look up though, like, are there any other confirmed cases of this happening, to other baobab trees to this one?
It's just
and it says no, there are no verified documented cases of people literally disappearing into any tree, really, of that matter. Although movies like to talk about that all the time. People are always disappearing into trees. And then, of course, because I'm just thinking of I don't know.
Princess Bride. There's
Princess Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, it's a cartoon, but trees are like portals into different worlds. I don't know. It's interesting. But here's where it gets interesting. The story isn't pulled from a single recorded event. It's actually a blend of real cultural beliefs and natural features and global missing time patterns. So they can live 1,000+ years apparently inside of this hollow tree. And yes, you can walk into them because they are that huge. They're actually used for homes and shelters and apparently prisons A hollowed out tree used to be used as a prison at one point in history.
Oh,
So
that's different.
I know, right? So the idea of someone actually entering a tree and disappearing isn't actually that far-fetched. Really, it's just
Okay.
apparently not, exactly documented. But there are villages that believe that this is a thing and you have to be aware of the Baobab tree.
All right.
I know.
I like
Weird,
it.
right? I know.
A little
I
bit,
thought it was
yeah.
pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, for me, I don't give too much like time on like myth, but it's interesting to think about anyway.
Yes, it is.
No, what is Ron said? The
It's
TV
actually,
show?
I mean, really is fascinating. I think not only does it hold all the water, but it's got like, you can eat every part of it.
Oh, really?
It's really very edible. Yeah.
Oh.
It produces a fruit. The leaves are edible.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting tree.
While you are sharing your next topic, I'm gonna just look up what countries it's in. So we're talking yarn bombing.
So yeah.
Okay.
I try. Yeah. This is another, I guess, like me with my like law breaking topics today, but yarn bombing is illegal.
Okay. You're a
This
little
is the act of, yeah. So normally, and I have really great information here about the history of it. But yarn bombing, there's all kinds of different kind of like, where the guy was, producing fruit for people who don't have fruit, like, so it's like a noble thing. It's, there's all kinds of different levels of yarn bombing. And one of them is that you can go through like a park. First time I ever saw this was in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
Where they hardened criminal types, yes, where you get imprisoned in trees. The yarn might be like wrapped like scarves are wrapped around a tree. So it's for the homeless, where it's like, if you need a scarf, take a scarf, leave a scarf. If that's kind of where that part of it, part of that is popular with yarn bombing. But it is a type of street art that uses knitted or crochet. So it doesn't matter which, type of, skills you're using to make your objects, but they are covered trees. It could be fences, lampposts, bike racks. See the images that you see here, a tank, really, really fascinating yarn bombing book with some really great, like, examples of yarn bombing. It's really amazing. But the story behind how this actually got started is varying. Some of it was just starting, to bring some color into some drab areas. Sometimes you can see yarn bombing, a statue have a scarf around or leggings.
I have seen that actually.
Yeah, you've seen yarn on different statues to kind of add whimsy, I guess. There's also applying yarn to trees makes some people wary because it can cause damage to the trees. But sometimes there's different reasons for it. Just because, people, like the different types of yarn can cause, old ladies version of graffiti. You're exactly right. Because the different yarns, some of them, if it's wool or alpaca, fleece or whatever, a little bit different than if you're using synthetics, right? So there are environmental issues involved, but usually it's a statement. Sometimes it's a political statement. Sometimes it's a humanitarian effort. When I lived in Virginia, I was part of a yarn bombing crew.
No, you're the old lady.
We were all old. Okay. Like I was the youngest member. Yeah. I haven't done it since. We created all these pieces. See the tree in the middle? It was not that cool, but it was pretty cool. So we went to a park. Actually, it was a crazy park in Virginia Beach. It was called Mount Trashmore. It used to be a dump, but they
Mount Trashmore
planted trees and grass, and it was these three huge hills. It was really, really actually beautiful, but a horrible name. It was the hub. Like everyone would come out. We spent an entire Saturday, and crocheting and knitting and like whip stitching on all of our pieces that we spent forever making, forever using all of our spare yarn. We spent an entire Saturday covering branches. I mean, it was so stinking cool. And the following Saturday, we went by because we were so excited to see, it's all gone.
No, why?
Yeah, they cut it. They cut it all off, and we were like, I was never doing that again.
No, never.
Like, never. You couldn't leave it up at least 2 weeks. Really, it was gorgeous.
Rude.
Anyway, so yarn bombing trees is very popular activity. Yarn bombing street signs, fences, all kinds of stuff.
I am looking on Google, and there is this like little, it's hard when I have a background on. So, oh yeah, you can't really see.
Yeah, it goes away.
Someone did it like these little flowers on a fence.
It is so cool when you see it, but if it's not cool if you put all your heart and soul into it and they cut it off.
I love it.
We weren't hurting anything. Yarn Thugs in Harmony. Yeah, it was. So we actually had a gang name. I'm going to be honest. We were Unraveled.
Love it.
I know.
The Unraveled ladies, and you're thinking these are like crazy. They're going to cut. No, they're going to cut some yarn.
Yeah, we did some. Yeah, it was dark.
Morning, Hugo.
We definitely had some fun doing it though. It was more like like Christmas for kids. They're excited, but you're even more excited because you've bought the gifts and you wrapped them. You're like all excited about this. It was almost like the anticipation of it.
Yes.
And you're like, we're going to do this and we're going to go in and we're going to go real early in the morning. And it's like really stealthy. And then,
I think it's cool. I think that's an awesome idea. I want to see more of that. And now when I see it, because the odd time I see a statue wearing a scarf, or in this picture, here's a statue of a dude wearing a bikini. He obviously is some sort of a leader that they have, made a mockery of, which is kind of funny.
Usually I would just suggest getting permission. It's a lot of work and a lot of money and yarn and time to just have it, whatever, disappear the next weekend. But
if I go to the thrift store and I get like old, wool quilts or whatever.
I know someone who literally, she goes to Goodwill and she buys like wool sweaters and unravels it for the yarn because it's cheaper than buying, if you look at yarn prices,
I love it.
Very expensive to buy yarn, and real wool, you're talking some money. Like,
oh, I've been to Michael's. I know my kid wanted to get into yarn, and I was like, girl, we can't afford this.
No, it's so expensive. And then you're like, but go to Goodwill. You can unravel stuff and seriously reuse the yarn. So it's smart.
I love it. I've been super into thrifting lately. JJ, who you'll meet, she's one of the hosts on the show. She's also super into thrifting.
Can you stand the smell? That's the problem.
You're right. It's like the sweet, cheesy, sort of gross smell. I don't care for that. But just wash it and find this dress.
It's just going in and shopping. I just like the smell is so ooey to me. I don't know. I like a good deal too. Like that's the thing. Mm-hmm. I have a client who she does a lot of thrifting. They go every Saturday all over the place. And look at these.
We're ignoring
gangster names. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let that one go.
Yarn DMC, I kind of like that.
I just give her my list of items. I'm like, hey, be on the lookout for these items. I'll let her buy them and pay her back so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, right. So you don't have to go in there.
Thrifting's fun. I just wish the smell wasn't bad.
I'm super into like antique stores lately. Thrifting. Yeah. Okay, I'm into these. I wish I had them here with me. They're these like little dog heads, and they're from like the 70s, 80s. Like they're called Bosons or Bosons heads. And they have like all different like creepy faces. But I only like the dog ones. And I have
What do you do with them? Just
I don't know. They're sitting on my dresser. They're supposed to be hung up on a wall. But I'm obsessed with them. So if anyone ever sees dog heads that say Bosons or Bosons on the back, I want them. Tell me where they are. Yeah. I'm just into thrifting lately. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love yarn bombing.
Yep. That's yarn bombing in a nutshell. There's a lot to it though, as you can see, if you Google it, there's like the story behind how it got started and all that really cool stuff. But
I think it's so cool. Yeah. I love it. Okay, well, we have one more topic here, maybe two. Let's see how quickly I get through this. We're on, on for a quick topic here. So I've got a new graphic here. So the Great Molasses Flood. This is a real story. It sounds like something made up, which, sometimes I find stuff on here that aren't actually true.
I've actually heard of this because I've been in Boston a few times. This is a real thing.
Exactly. So in 1919, a wave of molasses moved through the city, like,
Mhm.
like a tsunami flood,
Yeah.
but it was molasses. So, that's going to cause some destruction. That's sticky.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Uh,
can you imagine the bugs, like
no,
what that
I
would bring in? Only
now
so.
it was in January in Boston, so it would have been colder. So at least maybe the bugs were dead or hibernating or something, maybe. But it
Yeah,
doesn't take
you're right.
a week to clean up. I bet you it was messy for a long time there, really long time. So there was this massive steel tank and it was sitting near the harbor in Boston. It was about 50 feet tall, packed with over 2 million gallons of molasses.
Yeah.
People had been complaining about it for months to the city. It made a lot of noise, especially when it got cold. It leaked constantly. Kids were literally scooping molasses off the sidewalks or the sides of the boat. And on warm days, it made this like low, unsettling rumble, like, as metal contracts and expands,
Mm-hmm.
as the products inside freeze and then melt. But no one did anything about it, of course. As when people complain to the city and nothing happens. And then one day, the tank exploded. Just exploded. No warning, no slow crack, just a huge boom. And the tank burst open like it's been punched from the inside. Like something was trying to get out. This thing exploded. And it was a 30-foot high wave of molasses, 30 feet, moving around 35 miles per hour. That's insane.
That's pretty fast.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
Politics move like molasses. Well, not on this day. So, no water or oil or anything. It was literally all molasses. What's crazy is that witnesses didn't describe it like liquid. They said it moved like something alive. Like it picked up buildings and literally folded them in. It lifted up trains off of its tracks. It slammed people to walls and trapped them instantly, which is really scary and stressful. One man said it felt like it knew where I was trying to go. So again, like a movie, like this thing had a mind of its own and it was like following.
Did you ever watch HBO in the early like 80s?
No, I wasn't alive then.
Oh, okay. I'll try not to hate you right now. Okay. They had some blob thing. That reminds me of
I do know the blob though.
There was something I remember it being on a lot. We didn't have it for very long because I was an early riser and watched it. So they got rid of it. But the blob, man, that reminds me of it. It was terrifying. Yeah. Nowhere you could get away from it. Ooh.
Right. Because it had a mind of its own, right?
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like what this was. Ron says you could eat your way out. Girl.
Have you had molasses?
Have you had molasses? Also, your iron would be like off the charts. So being good for the anemia.
Molasses is extra. Like I like it in like gingerbread cookies and stuff.
I like it in my black licorice, and that is it.
Like molasses is an acquired taste, in my opinion.
I bought some a couple months ago for my daughter because her iron is so low. And I thought, well, at least it's sweet. Put it in your oatmeal.
Like when we run out of maple syrup, sometimes I take corn syrup and put a little molasses in it to make, so, because it's dark and it gives that little bit, but a little goes a long way with molasses.
Yes, it does. It sure does. Yeah, for sure. So, excuse me, another person described it, they said that they were trying to run and the ground itself was pulling him backwards as the molasses thickened around his legs. So it's like an alive quicksand blob, exactly what you're saying. So survivors said that time felt, I don't know, wrong. And it's so strange that this story, completely different, is talking about time missing again. The wave hit really fast.
But we have a new theme.
I know, right? Not even intentional.
Yeah.
So this wave hit fast, but like everything felt really slow and stretched out, right? People were trapped and conscious, I might add, which is horrible, unable to move as it thickened around them. Rescuers said it took hours and hours to reach people who were only feet away because molasses, when it gets cold, becomes like glue. And remember, it was January. So it would have hardened. There probably was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
So imagine this, like you're alive. Ron says, I've never purchased molasses. Yeah, you wouldn't really need it unless you do a lot of baking. You're alive. You can breathe, but you're slowly being locked in place like concrete.
Yeah.
The cleanup crews used salt water to break it down. which ended up being a really bad idea because it made the molasses spread even further, now seeping into basements, wood structures, clothing, skin. For decades, people said that they could still smell it on hot days. Decades.
How are you supposed to get rid of it? Like, what is the suggested method in case this happens again, of course?
In case there's another great molasses explosion. I don't know, regular water, I would imagine, but
why did they have so much of it? Like,
well, that's just it.
Why was that high demand, that amount of molasses? Like, that's a lot. That moved buildings and chased people.
Ron, look this up for us. Why was there a tank of molasses?
That big? That's a huge amount.
That is. And why was it just sitting there?
Story right there.
If they were going to sell it to someone, why didn't they do that?
Yeah, well, how long does it last? Maybe I don't know. That is a strange story.
It is, I know. So,
but I visited Boston, and it did come up.
That's wild.
Hearing about it, yeah.
So it says like
with the molasses story.
That's so cool. From a conspiracy angle, as you know, someone like me always is into.
I would say there was something.
Well, it says that the company that owned the tank knew it was leaking, knew the structure was questionable, painted it brown to hide the leaks instead of fixing them.
Oh, to make alcohol.
And they rushed, well, Ron, you're onto something here. They rushed production to meet alcohol demands. This was right before Prohibition started, and molasses was used for rum. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, it's all coming together.
Some locals believe that the tank didn't just fail, it was a pressure buildup. And like no one wanted to stop it because they needed all this molasses, right?
Do you really think of rum production in Boston though? Like I've never even
of the tropics of Boston. No, Ron, maybe I will buy molasses. I thought you weren't drinking, Ron. So even today, historians say that if you dig deep into parts of Boston's North End, you can still find traces of molasses in the soil. Pretty crazy.
Very crazy.
I love when, and not that I like when people get hurt or anything, but like I love a crazy natural disaster. Like,
oh my goodness. If my husband is watching, he's going to be like, this is dangerous because I absolutely love natural disasters.
Right.
I am fascinated. I love a hurricane. Like, we live in a hurricane. I love when a hurricane comes through. I don't care. Like, I know the destruction's bad. I know it could take my house, but I can absolutely love hurricanes. Earthquakes, volcanoes, like I love all of it.
Me too.
Okay.
Maybe
it's because it reminds us that we're small and that we're not in charge. Like it's like we can't control everything. Like
totally
makes us, I don't know. I think there's more to it. Like I don't think I'm just this horrible person that likes natural disasters.
No, I don't think so.
At least I'm going to tell myself that.
Yeah, right. I was telling Chuck yesterday, like where I am in Alberta, we're above Montana. We don't really get a lot of natural disasters. The odd time we get a tornado, but it's rare because we don't get the same heat here, right?
Right. So I was gonna say that would be really.
Yeah, we get the cold, but because
blizzards and
you
stuff,
guys
right?
are what? Sorry.
You get blizzards and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, but to us that's just every Monday. That's like not a natural disaster. That's just any day.
Okay.
But because you guys get the cold from us and the heat from Africa. You get that where you are. Where we are, we don't often get that. So natural disasters are very few and far between where we are. But in April alone, where I live in the middle of Alberta, we have had 4 earthquakes. What? Like it's
time to read Revelations.
Girl, seriously.
So creepy. That's wild.
I know, right?
Really? Okay.
Hugo is in North Dakota, I want to say. I can't remember. And he said he saw a tornado like a mile down the street. That's wild.
Yeah, that really is.
Tornadoes are scary, but they're fast.
Oh, I know. And hurricane season's coming, and I'm like, this is so exciting. Like, how many are we going to have?
So exciting.
I know.
My husband was married once before me also, and on his honeymoon, they went to Cabo in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Huge a huge hurricane. And they were abandoned in the hotel, and there was like no food and water for like days. So he doesn't feel as great about hurricanes. But I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say mudslides. I think I went to Venezuela, and they had just had a mudslide, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? Like I'm just thinking, and they're like, no, it just like took out entire streets of homes, and they just like poured down the side, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's still cool.
It is interesting And I think like, the
Crazy.
reason why I find all these things so interesting is because like you really are so small and helpless. And like if the earth decides it wants to do something, you're done. It doesn't matter what kind of prep you do or where you live. If the earth decides to give out one day, you're dead. You're gone.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's what it is.
It's humbling.
I think, yes, absolutely. I think that's what I really think it is. But I think it's like fascinating that we think we have, you know, like our fingers and everything, that we're in charge and control, and we really don't.
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. I love it. Great show. We're right at an hour. If you have 5 extra minutes, Ron was going to hop on and do a little something. If you have to hop off, that's okay too. We always go over because we just get started. So
it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Ron, hop on. Do your little anniversary post if that's what you were wanting to do. It said if we have time. I have time.
Come on, Ron.
Come on, Ron. We're waiting.
Put your lips on.
Me. What do you mean that's not me?
That's not me.
Well, then what is this? 70? Is this from you? The 75th anniversary?
Okay. We can table that another day. That's just that was another story if we need
it. Okay.
No
anniversary. Was Ron trying to hop on?
No. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. It wasn't him. He's not ready. He's not. He wasn't planning on it. It's all good. We can just wrap it up. I'll bring that up another day. It's no big deal.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Awesome.
Good story.
Well, thank you everyone for being
here.
Thank
you. Yep. We're back next Tuesday. Are we together next Tuesday?
Hard to say. Depends. Depends what is going on in the world. I got to look at my schedule, but definitely we are back tomorrow. It's Ron and Luana, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain Time.
Yep.
And then Thursday is going to be JJ and Kyle. And then I will not be back Monday with Chuck, so I probably will be Tuesday. But definitely check us out, everybody here any day this week except for
Friday. Like and share.
And pony, I don't know what that means. Oh, Pono? I don't know what you're saying, Hugo. But anyways, thank you for being here, and we will see you guys again.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.